Today we're going to learn about how we extract information from the fossil record about what animals ate. And of course, when animals eat something, the thing that they use most is their teeth. So let's have a look at tooth shape. The first thing that we look at is the overall shape of the teeth. And just like the modern animals around today, animals in the fossil record used their teeth to eat specific things, and the shape of the tooth reflects that. For example, this big extinct diprotodontid ate a range of leaves and grasses. It's got these big loafs on its teeth for cutting through that vegetation. If we have a look at some other marsupials, like this koala, for example, we can see that the shape of the tooth is adapted to a very specific function. All of these little blades act like scissors for cutting through leaves. Whereas in animals like wombats, they're eating much tougher vegetation, and they've also got lots of dirt coming in their mouth from when they're digging their holes and all the dusty grasses that they eat. So their teeth grow throughout their life and wear down all the time. So through looking at the shape, we can get an idea of what an animal was eating. The next category that we look at is the enamel. Now, here you can see it divided into these brown parts, that's the dentine, and the enamel, that's the hard outer part of our teeth. And that is adapted to grinding up whatever we're eating. So the thickness of the enamel tells us something about how hard the vegetation or the other things were that the animal was eating. And if we zoom right in, we can actually see that there are micro traces left on the surface of that enamel and that dentine, and this is called microware. And different scientists look at microware in order to be able to determine what an animal was eating in the couple of weeks before it died. The last thing that we look at in terms of determining diet is the components making up the teeth and the bones themselves. We can use what are called isotopes. So these are different ratios in carbon and nitrogen and oxygen and other elements that tell us something about the past life of these animals. They can give us clues to climate, the amount of water that was around in the environment that these animals were living in. It can also tell us things about exactly what they were eating. So different plants have different metabolic pathways for processing the sunlight through photosynthesis. And we can look at these chemical signals associated with these pathways to look at which groups of plants animals were eating. Now, it's not just the head end that is important when we look at what an animal was eating. If we're really lucky, sometimes we see fossilized poo in the fossil record too. And these fossilized poos are called coprolites. With our coprolites, we've got a whole range of different shapes that tell us something about what the animal was eating or what kind of animal it might be, as well as structures within the coprolites. So we might look for little tiny pieces of bone that might tell us we were looking at a carnivore, or sometimes all the tiny little voids represent the plants that the animals were eating. All of these different things we've just talked about are different ways that we can predict what extinct animals, including dinosaurs, had for dinner. So all of the different shapes and all of the different structures all give us different clues as to what these animals were eating.